Hi everybody. You guys know Jesse Wiseman as Millie, Tyler Dawson as Aiden, and the writer-director, superstar, Evan Gladell.
Vincent Grashaw.
And Vincent Grashaw. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, anybody?
Did you ask about the overall look of the film? Yeah. It's shot in kind of these weird handmade hacked cameras it's a hobby I have that I've been doing forever.
I like the look and it added up for
Oh
Just a standard question of, how long was the shoot in terms of how long it took you guys to shoot it, and then also where'd you find your composer? Music.
Our composer's right there.
He's right there. I can find him right now.
Stand up, Jonathan Keeble. He did a lot of the vocal songs in the movie and as well as the score, which the soundtrack is out on iTunes, and the vinyl comes out August 30th, I think, right?
Woo!
Yeah. So you guys should all get it. The shoot length was 90 days in the summer of 2008, and then over a period of like 2 years during editing, doing pickup shots.
Hey, over here.
I really enjoyed it. I really like the look of it. Their DP did a great job. I thought you all were excellent. All right, did this come about? And I really love the structure too, the writing, the structure, the story. Were you guys just all actors who kind of came together and cooked up this idea, or were you more filmmakers who said, let's just all act? Like, how did you come to think about how to put the whole thing together? Where did the idea come from?
The idea came from. Sorry, I'm like
get into
kind of an interesting mood tonight. It was a relationship I went through. Like so crazy. My mind's not working today. But yeah, so I guess what you're asking, the way you asked it anyway, it started out as my project. So I had the script and I really badly wanted to make it, and then and then everybody else, I sort of, from working and stuff, met people.
I think most of you.
This is not, I've done like 70 Q&As. This has never happened to me before. So I don't know what's going on with my brain tonight.
I think
help me.
I think mostly we met to make this project. So he had written the script before we had met, and I know you guys met before we did. Anyways, Evan, we're really good at this. Evan was looking for people for the film. So he saw me in a play, he saw Jesse in a play, and he sort of had the people for this movie in mind. And then it took us about 6 years to make it. So in that time, we all became really close and worked on like a bunch of shorts and stuff. So by the time we got to shooting Bellflower, we had worked together and we were all like really close friends. So in a way, it was like a group of friends making the film, except for that it had all come out of
it's like
wanting
the
to
same group of people that worked in this film. It's also all of our actual main social circle. So that's why it's confusing.
Like our only friends.
But it was created in an odd way because of the movie. How much did the film change? Quite a bit and not that much at the same time. Like the overall structure and kind of the way the film is very similar to how the script is. But there's a few sections that had a lot of attention. Basically parts that I wasn't quite happy with how they were working, and spent like 2.5 years editing the film. And so there's some parts that have been tweaked quite a bit.
Hey, in the back.
I read this only cost $17,000 to make, and I was thinking for something like that you'd have to be like sitting around inside the house the whole time or something. I'm just amazed at how you guys pulled this off. Any broad explanation of how you made it all stretch so well?
Yeah. It was really zero. The 17,000 is a number that was made up that there's pretty much 11 main people, cast and crew, that worked on the film, and everybody just put in whatever they had to keep it going throughout the course of the entire thing. And we tried to add it all up to figure out after 3 years what we'd spent, and it was around $17,000. But basically that just meant it was just manpower. It was everybody's project, and everybody kept just working and paying for themselves to be there.
And a lot of time too, because like our main shooting was 90 days straight. So, you know, we couldn't solve problems with money, I guess. So if there was a problem, you had to figure it out creatively, or you know, if the car broke down, or if an engine blew or something, it would just be like we couldn't afford to buy a new one. So you'd have to sort of work. I don't know. Vince might want to talk about that. He sort of came on to take care of us.
I don't know. It was. I mean, yeah, for 90 days, just we were staying in an office building that was a company that was just graceful enough to let us stay there. So we would camp out there, shoot for like 20 hours, and then I mean, it worked because our time didn't cost anything. So that was really the main reason we didn't spend a lot, because it all went basically into the Medusa car. And we didn't.
The Medusa car was more than half of the budget. More than half that went into the car.
Yeah. And we couldn't shoot if we didn't have gas for the car to get somewhere, so we would spend a day shooting somewhere where we didn't need to drive, stuff like that. I mean.
Okay, from the center.
Is it true that, well, I read in LA Weekly that you didn't have any permits or anything for some of the shots and stuff, and I'm just wondering if you had, like, ran into any trouble. It seemed like a lot of action.
We expected a lot of trouble because of some of the things we were doing. And we had some pretty heavy planning went into like contingency plans if the police were to show up when we were like firing a flamethrower or we weren't supposed to be or something. But and they did show up occasionally, but never at that exact wrong moment. So
yeah, it was never like at a point where I don't know what would happen if we got caught with that flamethrower, to be honest. But
luckily the police were like really nice. I feel like for the most part. Like, they'd come at 3 in the morning, we'd be, like, smashing windows and being really loud, and they'd be like, okay, just keep it down, guys. And we'd be like, thanks.
The Medusa car helps, too, because
anytime
that was there, they're like, hey, what's the car? That's pretty cool. And then they're more worried about checking out the car than...
And we put a lot of time into thinking about making sure the wrong people wouldn't be arrested. So like obviously like we couldn't lose Evan or any of the main cast. So if something were to go down, we were always sort of planning that like you'd sort of blame it on someone else. And
different people were volunteering on what day. We're like
so like they'd be like I'm in charge. You can take me to jail, and then we could keep shooting hopefully. But luckily it never got to that point, I guess.
Right here.
I thought the relationships were really great in the film. You guys really meant well together. How much of the dialogue is scripted and how much is improv?
It's almost entirely scripted, but we definitely have a loose way of shooting where we try and change words up and stuff to
if like a line didn't sound natural or didn't work for somebody, you'd find a way to make it work so that it didn't seem awkward, I guess. But for the most part, it was scripted entirely.
Yeah. Well, there's little moments here and there, like at the end of a scene or something when we keep going.
You can tell sometimes. But, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, off to the side.
I saw a calendar in the shack that said 1997. Was that your intentional time frame?
In the garage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That was just. We really wanted to have one of those trashy, like, swimsuit babe calendars. It just, 97 was a good year for that.
So was your time frame present then?
I think it's undefined.
Okay.
To me, it's undefined. Like, I know that I always kind of thought about the time period when I was writing the script, but it was never, like, locked in. So there's a lot of things I wanted to be, like, would have been, like, early 2000s. Like, I didn't have a cell phone yet and stuff like that. So I was kind of trying to keep that stuff out of the movie, but not entirely, so you see them show up sometimes. But I think that has caused some people to ask if it was supposed to be set in a specific time.
Right here.
So did you guys have day jobs when you're making this? Because I assume that you'd be shooting like on weekends, but then you mentioned, being put up in this office for 90 days. And also I noticed one other thing that it looked like it was mainly shot during golden hour, like the late afternoon. So I don't know, I assume you have day jobs and like you only had a couple hours then if you stayed to shoot. Is there any of that related?
Vince?
I didn't have a day job. I actually left mine
A lot of people
to do this movie, and yeah.
For the main production, for the main 90 days, the summer that we shot it, like the main couple crew members and we like everybody quit their jobs and kind of like just like we were staying wherever we could, so that we could work on it full time.
I was living in Vancouver at the time, so I'd have to fly down to LA for like chunks of time. And then go back to work so that I could afford to pay for myself to come back down and keep shooting. So I guess I was sort of working.
Yeah.
movie being distributed theatrically, and do you have distribution for your DVD and all that?
Yes. It got into Sundance in January, which is the first thing of note that has happened to the movie or any of us. And then and then it's sold to Oscilloscope, and like even I guess today, because it did well enough opening weekend, it expanded to 200 cities today. Theatrically.
They expanded. They've already had 200 booked, and now because it did well, they're planning on doing over 500 theaters.
Really?
Yeah, 500 screens.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Yeah, then it's going on DVD when?
And I believe November, maybe DVD release.
I mean,
Don't tell your friends to wait that long.
No. It's expanding around LA and Ventura and around the country over the next
I think at this point,
2 months.
Yeah, almost anywhere you are, you can probably see it if you're willing to drive a little bit.
But thank you for coming, because
yes, you guys. Thank you for coming. That's like the
well.
craziest thing. So.
Any more questions?
No, that'll wrap it up for
Wait, that guy did. I saw him.
We're not done talking.
One more for that guy. He was nervous.
How come the edit took the length of time that it did?
Because we were still shooting simultaneously. During the 90 days, because we really like had zero money. And so there was a lot of, we ended up getting every last thing we could possibly muster, because we knew if we stopped, it might just all fall apart and never happen. So we were just dragging, being like, we're going to get it, we're going to get it, we're going to get it, we're going to get it. And then eventually, there was things like the Medusa car blew up before we got to shoot any of its stuff. We weren't able to get gas to get out of town to shoot anything that we couldn't fake right by where we were living, basically. So I was editing, and there was like stuff where I was like working on the script, trying to figure out if I could make stuff work. And I'd figure some of it out, and other stuff I'd be like, oh crap, we have to go get that shot we didn't get. Arrange it, go out and get it, and it kind of went on like that for 2.5 years.
Oh, no,
and I was trying to make the movie good too, so.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, you guys.
Thursday again. You've heard from them. Get the word out. There's been already one expansion. If more people keep showing up for this one, they can expand even more cities, and these fellas definitely deserve it. So get the word out. They don't have a organic lunch, so it's depending entirely on
PopCultureGeek.com